Good day, everyone. Today we are looking at an open source project management software, and the name of the software is Project Libre. So I want to launch Project Libre now. It's already installed on my desktop. Is an open source project management software. By the word open source, it means it's free. It's been downloaded by more than 4 million people since it was created. It's a free software. The advantage of this software basically is because it's free. Majority of the softwares that we have outside there, you need to pay for them. You need to spend a lot of money paying for them. But Project Libre, the designers thought it in their wisdom to make it free for everybody. Another major advantage of this software is the fact that you can interface it. You can save and open Microsoft project files with it. What does it mean? If you have created a program in Microsoft project, you can open it here. And when you want to save the project also, you can either save it in Project Libre format, or you can as well save it in Microsoft project format. So that's an added advantage, and that is one of the reasons why we are looking at it today. All right, so this is the interface for Project Libre. Very simple and straightforward. So is either you create a project, or you open an existing project. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a project. Okay, today we want to just do a compressed program for a 2-story building structure. It's going to be a compressed program. We are not going to the details of that program. I'm just going to compress it so that we can really explore this software and see what we can learn from it. All right, so I title the program that we want to do today 2-story building. All right, so what's the manager's name? So you have to enter the name of the manager for the project. All right, so now you have the start date, and there is an icon, there's a box here, there's a check box here, that when you make it a forward schedule, it means the project, what you are only giving the project is the start date, right? But if you uncheck it, it changes to finish date. So it means you can schedule back. So you have the liberty of scheduling back, of scheduling forward. What do you have? What do you know when you want to plan this project? Do you know the start date? Then you leave it checked. Do you know it's only the day that you need to finish it that you know? Then you click this. So now you can add notes. Note this program of works is about a 2-story building structure. So immediately you click OK, the interface comes out. Right, now the interface is also simple and is straightforward. All right, so we have the file, under file we have open, save, we have print, preview. You want to save in PDF. When you have projects, you can click here. Information about your project can come out here, the calendar, the project dialog, baseline, and everything. If you have more than one project, you can series of project, you can open it here. All right, so what we're going to try to do is to create a project now to do program of work for a two-story building. But before we do that, we quickly go to task. Under the task, you have the Gantt view. All right, you have the network view. By the time we are done with the project, we will explore all these things so to see what we can do with them. You can have a work breakdown schedule. All right, since we've not created any project, that's why we are not able to see anything under this network. What I advise people is that when you want to do a program of work, if you are not a guru and you need some, it is important that you do what we call a work breakdown structure. You can do it on a rough sketch. By the time we are done with this program, you will see the work breakdown structure. But you can as well do a rough one on your edge, on your paper, as the case may be, depending on how vast you are with the activities that are involved in that. Okay, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can copy, you can cut, you can insert new task, you can delete new task, you can indent to the right, you can outdent to the left. When you want to create hierarchy, that is when you indent. All right, you can link task based on their dependencies. All right, you can unlink them. Here you have information about a task, it brings everything out. Then your calendar, you can change working calendar here also. If you want to create notes, you can create notes here. If you want to assign resources, you can do here. You want to save baseline, you want to create baseline. All right, so resources, this menu is for resource utilization, and this last menu is the view menu. Okay, so without much ado, we start right away. Two-story building. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is the pre-construction stage. Then submission of drawings for. So I want to list out all the tasks before we begin to do justice to them in terms of duration, and the rest you can push this to this side. All right, so that you can see very well. Submission of drawings, preparation of bill of quantities, tendering and selection of contractors, advance payment and mobilization of contractor. All right, so we have that. Then we have ground floor. So I'm going to lump up these activities. We have foundation works, we have carcass, we have M and E, we have finishing, Then we have fourth floor, same activity. I can just come here, copy them, then come here, paste them. Alright, so I can do same, copy here. So I change this to second floor. Okay, so I've been able to itemize the task that I want to closely monitor for this project. Okay, before we go ahead to look at the duration, there is need for us to, by default, majority of the planning tools, they assume that you do not work Saturday and on Sunday, so there is need to set the calendar to suit the time that you want to work. Now, the beauty of Project Libre, apart from the fact that it gives you the date, it also gives you the time. There's some activity that you might not even need a full day to achieve, right? So you can set the precise time. For instance, if your closing time is 4 o'clock, all right, so this does not necessarily need to be 5 o'clock. Okay, let me see. So what it does is that when you start by 9 o'clock, you need to finish 9 o'clock. What does that mean? It means your 8 hours have to be complete. All right, the 8 hours have to be complete. Start 9 a.m. If you start 8 a.m., you are able to finish by 5. It means if you start 9 a.m., you still have 1 hour more to do on the next day before your full day work is completed. All right, so basically that's what it means. All right, so now what we want to do is to change the to change Saturday and Sunday. I mean Saturday to a working day. We change Saturday to a working day. To do that, we just go to calendar. So we can select all the days. This is default. Okay, so we start looking at Saturdays. We are in March, so we start looking at Saturdays. You can be clicking them one by one. By default, we are changing them to working days. All right, 8 hours, 8 to 4, then 1 hour break, then 1 to 5. So this easily you just turn them. All right, so you can turn the Saturdays to non-default working time as you want. And if your project is a tight one that you have reasons to work on Sunday as well, you can change the program to accommodate that. All right, then if there is any day during the working days that there is a public holiday, you can turn to working time. For instance, this is Easter period, All right, 2nd of April is Easter period. You can just change it to non-working time. All right, Monday is the same thing. Change it to non-working time. All right, so basically that is how to save changes to, the days you want to work and days you do not want to work. You do the manipulation here. Then when you are done, you click OK. All right, so we've been able to do that. All right, so the next thing we want to do is to look at the duration. Basically, by experience, you estimate the anticipated time that these activities is going to take. So submission of approval drawing, this has to be preparation, basically preparation and submission of approval drawings. All right, so what I'm going to do here, without wasting time, approval takes a lot of time. I just put one, let me see something. Okay, what did I do? I put 1 month and it gave me 20 days. What does that mean? It means you have 5 days in a week and you have 4 weeks in a month. So that's why even if I type a month there, it's still giving me 20 days. All right, so you need a lot of time for this, so that's why I've put 20 working days there. It means Sunday is also included. By preparation of bill of quantities, I can easily say within 5 days I have a good QS. 5 days is going to come up with this tendering. So the strategy that I use it while approval is going on and I begin to do my project preparation. I prepare. The first thing is to prepare the drawing and submit it. While that one is going on, you use the information from the drawing, you prepare your bill of quantities. Then you begin to look at the best contractors that can deliver in terms of cost, in terms of quality, then the technical know-how of the project at hand. Selection of contractors, tendering and selection of contractors, another, let's say 7 days. All right, I need to give enough time for this so that the detailed work will be done. All right, so I say 8 days. All right, so that's already 18 days. So by this time I'm already preparing to round up my when the approval is ready, to tidy up everything so that I'm ready for the project. All right, so assume the approval coincides with the approval coincides with the time that I've been able to prepare the bill, tendering and everything, and I've been able to mobilize the guy. It coincides at the same time, 20 days. Okay, there's need for me to hide. I want to add insert. So approval gotten. All right, drawing approved. So this is basically going to be a milestone. All right, you use a day to denote a milestone, right? Then the ground floor, foundation work. So I'm going to assume it's a very small project. I'm using 15 days to achieve this. 15 days. 20 days. 10 days. 10 days. I repeat the same thing. Carcass 20 days. M&E 10 days. 10 days. crackers 20 days, 10 days. Is invalid, there's a space there. Alright, 10 days. Then I have my finishing 10 days. Then I can say I need to add another handing over commissioning. Okay. Identification, snagging and correction, site cleaning, site clean up, site clean up, testing, commissioning, then and over. Okay, so let me just add that. All right. So snagging, you need to leave enough time to be able to identify those mistakes and correct them. I'm leaving 4 days for that. I use 2 days to clean up the site. Then testing and commissioning to ensure that what has been installed is able to meet the requirements for which the structure has been put in place in the first instance. Then a day handover. All right. So basically, I've identified those. I have estimated the duration. So what I need to do now is to establish the relationship with these activities. Basically, there are 2 ways to do that. You can just link them together. All right. No, I'm not doing that. Okay, let me indent them first. All right, to create the hierarchies, I indent, I click all the numbers, I click indent all the activities under first floor. I highlight them from the number side, then I indent them to the right. I come to 18 to 20, I indent to the right. 22 to 25, I indent to the right. Now I still need to do something. I pick number 2, I indent it further. I pick number, I indent it. I pick first floor, I indent it. I pick second floor, I indent it. I click handing over, I indent it. Now you want to check whether the indent is correct. You can shrink them, so you can see that what we have here now is a good replica of what we want to do. All right. Okay. Good. So now the next thing is to link them, because every activity is still starting on the same day, right? Every activity is still starting on the same day. So what I want to do, there are 2 ways. It's either you highlight this, you link. All right, you can see that your duration is going up already. So we have linked them, but what we want to do is immediately we prepare and submit the drawings. we want to begin to work on the preparation of work. At this point, before we go into the details, it is important that we understand that this is where the work is. There's no software that is really going to do what we're doing now for us. No software that is going to do it for us. It is a function of our knowledge of what we are planning that will determine how. So we have basically the 4 types of tax dependency: the finish to finish, the finish to start, start to finish, and start to start. Finish to finish is they finish at the same time. Finish to start is one has to finish before another one can start. The other one is one has to start before another task finishes. The last one is they need to start at the same time. So it's finish to start is what has been chosen as the default relationship. So we need to lag this. Let's lag it by, this is 20 days difference. Let's lag it by 5 days, 15 days, and let's see what we have. Okay, so it has to be negative lapping. I have to correct that. Minus. Okay, so you can see that it has brought everything out. Okay, alright, so 25 days basically for pre-construction work. Okay, we leave it at that place because you need some time to prepare the drawing before you submit, right? Okay, so preparation of BOK has to be completed before tendering can be done and submission, and of course you have to select your contractors before you advance them, so we do not need to do any back work lagging there. All right, so we move to the ground floor. So this can only start after you have gotten approval. So there is need for us to link this with this. All right, so we have linked them. So when we have linked them, so we also link, we can use this side to link. Okay, we can use this to link, and let's see what we have. All right, so we have linked them by default, but foundation works, of course, that has to be completed before you can do your carcass. Then your M and E need to do some backward integration, backward dependency. I'm using 20 days, so I want to start after 15 days minus 15, right? And let's see what we have. Right, so I want to lag this also by just 5 days minus 5 days. All right, so carcass and finishing, no, something is wrong there. So there is no way carcass will finish before M and E. So let's check this. This has to be 5, and let's see what we have. Anything of 15. Good. Yes, so this is how we want to establish the relationship. Okay, so of course if this does not finish, you cannot start the other one. So there are so many ways to do it. You can select this, you can also link them, right? So we can link everything now. Link, right? Link, right? Link. Okay, so I've linked them, so all I just need to do now is to also link this and this link, right? Are we in order? Yes, we are in order. There's nothing we can do, it has to progress accordingly. So I also want to link this and this. Yes, so far. Okay, so we just need to just lag them now. We start with carcass, first floor carcass. We want to lag. Let me see. This is 5 days. Then 5 days, right? We lag them 5 days. Minus 5. Okay. Oh, sorry. I've done plus 5 there. Minus 5. Then the same thing with this. Minus 5. Alright. Okay. So we do same for second floor. So this is where your ingenuity comes in. No software is going, as far as I know today, no software is just going to teach you this. This is just a function of your knowledge about the subject matter, and whatever date you put there must be realistic. Whatever date you put there must be very, very realistic. All right. So basically, we've been able to do a program of work for a story building, right? Compressed one. Okay, now let's look at some of the other things that we can do now. By the time we are finished this program, we can easily look at the network diagram. There's no relationship. Okay, so you can look at that. It's showing us the number of days for each activity. This is the work breakdown structure in a logical manner. Work breakdown structure. You can see this, bringing down everything for you in a logical manner. Alright, so we go back to the Gantt chart. We want to check something there. Okay, there's a relationship already. So we are in the Gantt chart. Network, you can see the network drawing, you can see the work breakdown schedule, you can see the tax usage. This has to do with resources. Okay, by default each work is 8 hours. It is assumed that work for one day will be carried out within 8 hours. All right, you can also add additional you can add additional columns if you want to insert columns. What do? You come to task, you want to insert. Okay, just come to Z. So if you want to insert columns, you can insert. If you want to hide, you can hide. I can decide to add this, add the predecessor. I do not need it. If I want to add, I can insert a column. These are the columns that are available. You can understand you have the costs, actual duration, actual finish, actual start, baseline, percentage completion. Every of those activities are there. Okay, let's see. Percentage complete. Alright, I can add that. Then resources also. You want to add the resource names. What else do you want to add? You want to add your costs. You want to add your baseline. So these are the columns that you can add depending on what you want to do. Okay, so the next thing we want to do now, let's bring this page back. You can also add your resource. You come here, you fill the name of the resource. Maybe it's an engineer. That's just like a code. Basically, we have two types of cost. We have material, we have work material, we have worker material. Basically, work is your equipment, is your personnel, then the material is, those are the consumables that you use for the project. You can add the email address, you can create material label if you want, the group, you can create it. Then most importantly is the maximum units available. So if you make this 50%, for instance, it means that it will be dedicated, that resource will dedicate 50% of his time to accomplish that activity. Alright, okay. Now the standard rate, for the sake of this program, the unit of the unit for rate is in dollars. Alright, it's possible for you to change it to your local currency, but you need to go to the control to make that changes. That is outside the scope of this discourse. Alright, so overtime rate, you can enter it. Cost per use, once you use that resource, the cost that accrues to it, then you can prorate it. You want that cost to be prorated, I mean to be accrued at what instant? Is it when you start it? Is it when you end it? You want the effect of the cost to come into play when either when you start the using the resource, or when you finish using the resource, or as the work progresses based on the percentage. Alright, the calendar, you can choose the calendar that you have. So basically this is how you assign your resource. Right, you can assign your resource based on this. You can say this engineer is going to use like $100. I mean, per day is what is $100. Maybe the supervisor, the worth is $50, as the case may be. Alright, so that is that about resource. Okay, we go to Gantt. So if the engineer will be in charge of you come here, engineer, you assign to that particular resource. This is how to assign it. You determine whether it's going to be available on that project, and 100% this is alright. So that is the engineer has been assigned to that activity, right? Let's see, resource engineer, just for instance, let's say 10% job completed. Okay, so basically it's important that every day as the work progresses, it is expected for any program that you do what? You update it accordingly. You need to update the activities as the work goes on. As work goes on, you need to update the status of work. All right, so you can see as the work is going on, the cost is also being accrued to the global cost for the project. So you can also save as baseline, save the entire project. It's important to save as baseline after you have approval for your project. So what baseline does is like a capture. It's a pictorial representation. It's like a capture of all the information, the tax, the cost at a particular point in time. So baseline can be a basis for it can be a basis for comparison. You can save like 11 baselines on a project. All right, so it's a basis for comparison. Maybe you have added some additional activities at a particular point in time, but you want to have a report based on a particular date. So you can check the baseline saved as at that date, and you can use it to update your project. All right, so you can also have your reports. You can have your reports. Let's have a report. This is a report for the project at a go. It's 2-story building. It shows the date, the start date, the end date. Yeah, you understand. So as we begin to update it, it shows you this, the baseline dates. Everything is you can see it here. So also you want to have histogram based on percentage. We do not have much percentage, so that's why we are not seeing much here. This for the supervisor. So as work goes on, you can get information about the resource utilization. From here you can also have charts for the supervisor, of work, in terms of work costs, everything that you want to do. You can get some reports here. All right, so this is tax usage, and this is resource usage. If you have a number of projects that you have done, you can always check this tab to check them. So basically you can save it. You can see that you can save in the default format for saving Project Libre is POD, but if you want to save it in Microsoft Project, you can save it in Microsoft Project. You can open programs in Microsoft Project as well. So that is the advantage. The guys that designed this software and made it free, because they had Microsoft Project in mind. There were a lot of things that were common. It's just that the way to do it is different, but they had a lot in common. So if you want to go back, you want to clear all this Windows under here. You just click here, then everything goes back to the Gantt chart. This is the network, this is the drawing, work breakdown, schedule, tax usage, your resources is here. You understand your resource usage, your project is here, summary of your project. You can have this type of reports. You can have resource information. You can have who does what, number of hours and everything, tax information. You can have it here. All right. So if you want to export to PDF, also you can get that one done here. So today we have been able to look at what we can do with Project Libre, an open source project management software. I want to believe you have learned one or two things. The advantage for this software is the fact that you just download it, you go to the website, you download it, and voila, you are free to go. You are good to go. You can use the software without necessarily needing to pay money for the software. Actually, they are working on a cloud version. The cloud version has some features for some collaboration, and that is not free, but this is free and is at our disposal whenever we want to use it. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your listening, ears. See you next time.